up, band kids, young and old? This is Russ, also known as RK Slay for Marching Band is Awesome, and I am doing some quick rapid-fire videos about the semifinals results heading into the finals. And in this video, we're going to talk about the 4th and 5th place scoring Bluecoats and Cavaliers and what's happening in their race. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. Before we get going, definitely want to mention that it's been an exciting season, and these little kind of quick rapid fire videos, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, instead of me doing a recap all the way down, through the places, I just figured I would pick out a few and focus on them and talk about them. And so fans of these specific cores can come to these videos and we can discuss, like this one, we're going to discuss the Bluecoats and the Cavaliers. So, because we've got a really great race for that 4th spot, as everything's lined up right now, there's a pretty big gap between the Bluecoats and Carolina Crown, who are sitting in 3rd place. So the Bluecoats need to come on really, really strong to jump up into that top 3 position, which seems a little bit unlikely. Not trying to be harsh or anything, but just the way the scores are playing out. So what we're going to focus on in this video is that 4th spot, and if the Cavaliers have what it takes to beat the Bluecoats, or if the Bluecoats have what it takes to kind of hold off the Cavaliers, who've been coming on pretty strong. So in the semifinals last night, the Bluecoats scored a 95.212 and the Cavaliers scored a 94.925, and that was enough to give them both respectively 4th and 5th place. I'm pulling up the calculator because in some of these videos I just kind of talk off the top of my head and give you math that's not super accurate because I'm not a math whiz. I just play one on YouTube. Okay, that was a bad joke. I'm not a comedian either. But anyways, it's early in the morning on Saturday, day of the finals, and we got 95.212 minus 94.925, and you can also tell this is not not one of my edited videos that takes a couple of hours to script and edit. This is just me talking, and so I will blunder over my words, and I will probably say something wrong, and you can call me out in the comments. Just do it nicely. I always love good feedback. So this is just more casual vids. I like to do these every now and then, and I'm rambling now, so let's get to it. Bluecoats, Cavaliers, we have 0.287, so less than 3/10 of a point separating the 5th place from the 4th place. Let's take a look at, let's see, DCI.org is also somewhere I like to go. Let's see what we've got there. They say over on their news article about the semis last night, things were tighter than they have been since 2013, so that's 4 years, between the Bluecoats and the Cavaliers, who recently began to make significant strides toward closing a gap that was at least a point for most of the season, which is true. We've been watching the Cavaliers close in and close in and close in and close in. Tonight, last night, going into tonight, that gap is 0.287. So we would say 287 thousandths of a point, or just a shade under 3/10 of a point. So that's pretty sweet. Let's take a look at maybe some of the numbers there. Bluecoats finished 4th in total GE, 5th in total visual, and that was basically because they took 3rd in proficiency, 5th in analysis, and 6th in color guard. They took 5th in total music, which came about because they were 4th in brass and analysis and 5th in percussion. All right, so the Cavaliers, let's see where they're closing here. They scored 3rd in percussion, but 5th in the other 2 music captions, 5th in total general effect, and 4th in total visual by taking 4th in analysis and color guard. All right, so let's actually take a look. That's just a little recap. It gives you kind of a summary of the captions, but I like to actually look at their numbers. So real quick, we can kind of go across the board. In my top 3 video, I talked about how the Bluecoats needed to improve their scores to jump into the top 3. And that is basically due to scoring, it looks like, pretty, not low. Low's not the right word because they're scoring 4th and 5th place, sometimes 6th place, but Their color guard score was 6th place, and their visual analysis was 5th place. Their percussion, they scored a 4th and a 4th and a 6th place in the 2 categories, and then overall for percussion they scored 5th place. So we really need to see the Bluecoats to kind of shore up that percussion. The brass, they're scoring 4s across the board. Let's look at the Cavaliers. Their GE scores are a little bit lower. If they could just bump up the GE scores, they're in 5th place, which is reflective of the overall standings, and it looks like by just a few tenths of a point there. And then let's see, so they have a total, so Bluecoats have 38.35 and the Cavaliers have 38.00, so just over 3/10 of a point. For the general effect scores, we want to see the Cavaliers are in the hunt there, very close there in total visual. I gotta make sure I'm looking at the right column. Yeah, the Cavaliers actually outpace the Bluecoats, and then in total music, the Cavaliers are about half a point behind the Bluecoats. Whoops, I'm looking at the wrong category. So, scratch that. In total, excuse me, scratch my throat. This is such a big chart because it's going all the way across the screen. So, Cavaliers. I need this. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. So in total music, the Cavaliers are less than a tenth of a point behind the Bluecoats. So it's really close. And like I said, it all adds up to about less than 3/10 of a point score. So the Cavaliers are doing what it takes. And so will we see an upset tonight from the Cavaliers? Will they jump up into that 4th spot? And will it be a miraculous performance enough to take them all the way up into maybe even the top 3? So if anybody can do it, the Cavaliers can. They've been ramping up this season to overtake the Bluecoats. Tonight's their last chance to do it. The Bluecoats are still about overall a little bit less than a point behind the 3rd place Carolina Crown. So they've got a lot of ground to make up to move up. And so to me, the most obvious movement looks like it, let me start up. So to me, it looks like the obvious upheaval may come from the Cavaliers jumping up into that 4th place spot. Do you think they can do it? Are you fans of the Cavaliers? Let me know in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, for sure hit that like button. And as always, I'm Russ for Marching Band is Awesome. Remember, Marching Band is awesome because you're awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.